Good morning, everybody. It is Friday. Happy Friday. I'm happy to be here, happy to cap off a great week and head into a weekend that I earned. There's nothing better than like going into the weekend and saying, wow, I earned this, right? I had to take a little respite today from the running. For you guys that don't know, I've got like kind of a bum foot, had surgery on it like beginning of COVID and still gives me trouble, but after hitting my miles every day this week, setting a PR every single day, right, in terms of my mile time, I woke up this morning and my body was like, yeah, you need to chill because my foot was extra sore, but still had a productive morning. And the reason why I share that is because, again, like it's important to start your day off with momentum, but also with little wins and with gratitude. That puts you in the right headspace to enter into the market, right? When I can say, okay, I might not have done exactly what I wanted to do, but I still got some things accomplished. You share it with people in order to keep you, um, you know, to keep you accountable. All of that is really important because we all look at the same market. We all look at the same candlesticks, but some of us see one thing and some of us see another thing. There were people that were, straight up full portfolio in calls yesterday and they got destroyed, right? The market shows us the same thing. So, what is the differentiating factor? It's mindset. Mindset is the lens through which you perceive opportunity. So, you've got to make sure that you curate that mindset as you come into the day. So I'm happy to be here. Happy that we earned the weekend and, looking to finish the week off strong, mainly just not doing anything stupid. When you have a great week, what you don't want to do is mess it up on Friday. So we're looking for good opportunities, looking to execute, but also remaining patient, not trying to give any of that money back to the market. Yesterday, we had some killer trades, right? We had a nice 400% profit trade where we took these SPY puts from 25 bucks a pop to 130 bucks a pop. You got to love it, right? The market. It's a beautiful place. But getting into things, good morning, Andrea, Michelle, Luke, Paul, Detrice. Glad to have everybody here and to finish strong this week. Let me go ahead and dive into what we got going on today. All right. So, our top headline for news today: high alert. Ransomware attacks are on the rise, posing new challenges to companies, businesses, and entities in an age when nearly everything is done online. New technologies, open banking, and the expansion of remote transactions have all made the task of cybersecurity even more critical, and those that fail to meet the moment can risk their entire systems. Another wake-up call this week that showed the extent of the political or the potential disruptions with a ransomware attack on the world's largest bank interrupting settlements in the Treasury market, the U.S. Treasury market. So what happened? Sources say that Lockbit, a notorious cyber group with ties to Russia, infected the Industrial and Commercial Bank of China, one of the globe's biggest banks by assets. While the market's overall functioning remained intact, the cyber attack prevented swaths of Treasury transactions from clearing and prompted deals to be rerouted. Let's see here. Bloomberg even reported that trades traversed Manhattan on a USB stick, with the ICBC forced to send the quote required settlement details to those parties by a messenger carrying a thumb drive to limit the damage. So this is like something out of a movie, right? We've got cyber attacks that are causing, transactions to be rerouted, and we're having information delivered via an intern with a thumb drive. Like, this is crazy. This is, the largest bank in the world, and transactions are being disrupted by hackers, and we have to resort to, toting thumb drives around with faux messenger pigeons. Let's see, quote, we are aware of the cybersecurity issue and are in regular contact with key financial sector participants in addition to federal regulators, declared a spokesperson at the U.S. Treasury Department. Quote, we continue to monitor the situation. So, not the first time. Suspected perpetrator Lockbit has also been linked to hits on Boeing, ticker BA, while there have been other recent attacks and ransoms paid by Clorox, ticker CLX, Caesar, who we talked about, ticker CZR, and MGM Resorts, whose ticker is MGM. The latest cyber incident at ICBC, an institution deemed systematically important by the Financial Stability Board, will be on the radar for the entire financial system, especially given its impact of the liquidity of U.S. treasuries. According to cybersecurity firm Corvus Insurance, ransomware attacks have nearly doubled in the first 3 quarters of this year compared with the same period in 2022. All this does for me is further underscore the importance of cybersecurity companies, right? When we talk about tickers like CrowdStrike, right? Tickers like Okta, right? There are a lot of different cybersecurity companies, and their importance becomes only more and more and more and more and more as time goes on, because the majority of what we do now that is important, that is valuable to us, is online. We go to work. The majority of people here work online, right? Even if you're there in person, you're doing some work on a computer, all of our documents on the computer, all of our banking on the computer, all of our data on the computer, all of our medical data on the computer, right? I don't have to outline this stuff for you guys. But as a result, you're just going to see a continued increase in cybercrime. And with AI, it's only going to get worse, because at this point, there's nothing from me jailbreaking ChatGPT and asking it to come up with a plan for us to hack something like one of the most important banks in the world, right? Asking it, what type of attack that I would need to commit, maybe even type me up some backdoor code to get my way in, right? With AI coming about and becoming even more of a thing, it's just like any other technology. People are going to use it for nefarious purposes as well. So it just makes it an even tougher beat, because, to be honest, if I'm someone who's good at coding, right, it's tough. Like, not everybody has the same moral upbringing, and even then, like, the stuff that people are able to do with like just computer acumen is insane. So there's really no incentive for me to come and work for the U.S. government, like defending against, like cyber attacks. Like, the people that are best on computers are the ones committing the cyber attacks. Why? Because you stand to make the most money from doing that. I'm not. If I can go and code something up to hack Caesars and hold them hostage for every day, and every day they're losing like nearly $100 million, I'm gonna do that. Like, I'm just being real here. So, especially depending on your upbringing, like if you had a tough upbringing and you're like, I've been fending for myself my whole life, and I know how to do something like this, I'm not about to go and work for like, a 5 6 figure salary and just kind of sit around and twiddle my thumbs, wait to retire when I can hold up a casino. So that's really just the thought process with a lot of these guys. And who knows? Hopefully it changes. Again, maybe AI can help in the future to keep up with these incredible hackers. But it's tough, because this is one of those sectors where if you're the best at it, you're not on the right side of the law, because there's just not as much to be made on the right side of the law. In terms of tech news, Meta Platforms, ticker META, is eyeing a return to China 14 years after Facebook was banned in the country. The firm inked a preliminary deal with Tencent to sell a lower priced version of its virtual reality headset, Quest, in China, with sales expected to start late next year. The deal would allow Meta to compete with TikTok owner ByteDance, whose ticker is BDNCE, which makes the VR headset Pico. In other news, U.S. Amazon shoppers can now directly buy products from Facebook and Instagram ads, a feature that will likely boost Meta's ad revenue, similar to Pinterest Amazon ads partnership. So Meta making moves. I wouldn't bet on this succeeding. Frankly, American tech companies struggle in China. They always have, and I venture to say they always will. There are a lot of like major idiosyncrasies in terms of the differences between Chinese culture and American culture, and American companies just have not gotten that down. Between that and the restrictions placed by the Chinese government, it's a hard road, and it kind of ends up being not worth it. And that's why you've seen all these American tech companies pretty much pull out of China, because they're super restricted with what they can do. And then, from there, Chinese people don't even really like the stuff that much, right? Because it's a different world. In terms of economic news here, hawkish comments. The S&P 500's 8-day winning streak has come to an end following hawkish comments from Fed Chair Jerome Powell in a disappointing government debt auction. It's the charts, baby, right? It's always the charts. At the end of the day, Powell is a smokescreen, and the big money was going to do what it was always going to do. We had that nice rising wedge on SPY. We had hourly bearish divergence on a number of different important tickers, meaning that we were chugging up on fumes, and we had to turn around soon. And that's exactly what yesterday was, and we capitalized off of that. With a 400% play and multiple 100% plus profit or near 100% plays, via Amazon puts and a couple rounds of SPY puts. But, again, disappointing government debt auction, yada, yada, yada. The charts tell the story. It would have been the benchmark index's largest streak since 2004 and the 32nd such feat since 1928. Powell warned that the FOMC was not confident it had achieved a level of sufficiently restrictive monetary policy and it wouldn't hesitate on further tightening if warranted. Following the speech, JP Morgan said his comments were a reminder that the Fed still has a tightening bias, while Seeking Alpha analyst Leo Nellison feels that Powell just told the market to calm it with the dovish expectations. And, that sounds about right. At the end of the day, we've got a lot of different things that we're facing down right now and a lot of like existential threats as a country. And we've just got to rein in expectations. Just because we're not hiking doesn't mean we're dovish. I think that's what yesterday's statement said. And he just wanted to, again, like quell all of the anticipation because people are chomping at the bit just for the half second that they drop interest rates. And that is the problem, right? That exactly is the problem because what happens? They drop interest rates. People go out, they buy houses, they get cars, they do all this stuff. And what does it do? It drives inflation right back up. So, unfortunately, we just haven't beat demand down enough for him to trust us, right? Without throwing us back into more inflation. In terms of automotive news, union support following the wins at the Detroit 3, President Biden said he fully supports efforts by the United Auto Workers to unionize other car makers like Tesla, Toyota, and Honda. Polls currently show that a higher percentage, around 65 to 72% of Americans support unions than 5 years ago. Toyota has said the decision to unionize is ultimately made by its team members. And while analysts largely agree that Tesla will not be unionized, it would likely have to raise wages to some degree to stay competitive. UAW President Sean Fain expects the next labor contract negotiating round in 2028 to include 5 to 6 automakers, but the road to that target could be very bumpy. So this ongoing trend of unionization that we've been talking about for the past year and a half continues, and it's spreading like wildfire. And that could just cause more troubles, more issues on the production line, and higher costs for these companies, which isn't good for their bottom line, right? If you have to pay workers more, it's not good for investors. It's not good for the company in terms of like their revenue. And unfortunately, I think I get it. It's something that has to happen from both sides. You have AI that's coming up. It's going to take jobs. So you have these workers that need to stand up for themselves and make sure that their rights are taken care of and that their interests are taken care of. But at the same time, all that does is increase the necessity for AI to replace these disgruntled workers that keep striking. You know what I mean? It's like a dragon eating its own tail. And it's unfortunate, but it's something that is just going to happen because both entities have to look out for their own self-interest. In terms of today's markets in Asia, Japan were down 0.2%, Hong Kong down 1.8%, China down 0.5%, India up 0.1%. In Europe, the FTSE in London down 1.3%, Paris down 1.2%, Frankfurt down 0.8%, the Dow up 0.1%, S&P down 0.1%, so basically flat, NASDAQ down 0.3%, crude oil up 1.1%, gold down 0.9%, Bitcoin up 0.7% to 37K. Today's economic calendar, consumer sentiment at 10 a.m. That's really the only important thing. Consumer sentiment, 10 a.m. The market can react to that. We can have some price action that is a little volatile because of that. So we'll definitely be looking around, watching, keeping our eyes peeled for what happens at 10 a.m. because that can be impactful to the morning. We might even wait to place trades until then. We'll see. In terms of what else is happening, I'll finish up with our rapid fire stock news rundown. ChatGPT slowly dents Google search dominance. NVIDIA, ticker NVDA, plans to announce 3 new chips for Chinese market. That is like the biggest existential risk to NVIDIA is the fact that they cannot sell stuff to China because of the restrictions placed by the U.S. But if they announce new chips and their chips they can sell in China, then NVIDIA can go back to skyrocketing. So something to watch is NVIDIA still hasn't reported earnings, and that's been something that I've been talking about is the possibility of them unveiling a new chip that takes them, right back to new all-time highs. Apple faces potential setback in 13 billion euro tax order case in EU. Plug Power, ticker PLUG, plunges as losses mount amid supply woes. Trade Desk, ticker TTD, slides 28% after conservative sales forecast. Palladium price dips below $1,000 for the first time since 2018. BlackRock's plan for Ethereum ETF is confirmed, so likely some, positive sentiment there in the crypto space because of that. Iridium, ticker IRDM, tumbles as Qualcomm kills satellite deal. Groupon, ticker GRPN, plummets on sales decline, 2024 revenue outlook. Hawaiian Electric, ticker HE, will delay quarterly filings due to Maui Fire Fund. So that'll wrap us up. Put a bow on it and take us out this week. It's been a great week. I'm excited to put a little nightcap on it by executing today. If we get, some opportunities that present themselves that are just too good to pass up. But overall, like I said, great week. Being patient, executing when necessary. The market isn't going to be easy, but it gets a little bit easier whenever you invest into yourself to make sure, right, that you are staying ahead of the curve and always proactively positioned. So everybody have a great weekend, a safe weekend. I'm excited to see you guys back here on Monday, right? Let's kill in the market on this Friday. I'll see you later. Have a good one.